Hi guys, I'm Taylor Simons, and I'm super excited to share with you a dramatic reading of Chapter 1 of my debut novel, Collateral Damage, out June 25th, 2019, through Parliament House. Yay! Here we go. Chapter 1. Arnold is dead. It's not my fault, let's get that clear. These kinds of things usually aren't, but that doesn't change the unavoidable fact that he is super dead. I wish I could say Arnold's deadness is unexpected, but the truth is, I'm impressed he even survived this long. My last car only made it 6 months. To be fair, he's not technically dead yet, but he's definitely going to be in a few minutes. Maybe it's fatalistic to write this off as an inevitability, but I've lived in Lunar City long enough to know when it's someone's, or something's, in this case, final day. In this case, it's the police scanner duct taped to my dashboard that sets off the feeling of impending doom, but even before it starts blaring, I can already tell something's wrong. The desperate hope that maybe the hordes of people running hysterically down the street toward my car are participating in some kind of 5K only lasts a few moments before, with a pavement-rattling eruption, the tidal wave of dark smoke starts rolling in behind them. This, as you'd imagine, shuts my original theory down pretty quickly. As if the stampeding herd isn't enough of an indicator, the police scanner suddenly lets out a static-laced crackle that quickly gives way to a garbled, warped version of the authoritative shouting I've come to expect from it. I prod the finicky device until the muffled noise turns into something that sounds like 2 casualties, East 7th Avenue, and super variants have engaged, and that is enough for me. Absolutely not, I mutter, yanking the steering wheel to the left and dodging across the traffic down a side road. Not today. This turns out to be one of my worst ideas, because the side road is already occupied by one of the supers. Super Variant 3, if we're being specific. I would accuse the Lunar City Police Department of misinformation. East 7th, right? Did the scanner not just say that they were on East 7th? But I'm not really supposed to have a scanner, so there's no one to complain to. My tires screech as I hit the brakes, just feet away from the standstill traffic blocking the road, the owners having abandoned their cars in favor of running. And there, about 6 cars ahead of me, his boots firmly planted on the hood like it's some kind of pedestal, is Super Variant 3. The morning sun glistens off the gray leather supersuit he's wearing like it's a second skin, his famously perfect blue-black hair positioned in its trademark coil over his forehead. "Everybody out of the streets," he's ordering, a gloved hand cupped around his chiseled jaw. "Get to someplace safe. You need to..." A piercing scream grabs both of our attention. It's impossible to tell who it came from, but it's clearly someone out of the cluster on the sidewalk, one of the dozen or so heads gaping upward in terror at a massive billboard groaning on its hinges, a light breeze away from crashing down to the street below. "Oh no," I whisper, and then 3 and I both move at the same time. I'm not worried about the people underneath the billboard, by the way. I'm worried about me, because I've seen 3 in action before, and I know his MO. In the few seconds that it takes me to lunge for my backpack, an unwieldy black monstrosity jangling with a color-coded assortment of safety gear all firmly labeled, "Please return to Meg Sawyer," and smash a thumb into the release on my seatbelt, the billboard has wrenched free with a fantastic howl. I can see 3 flying toward it in a gray blur. Get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. I tumble out of the car and lunge for the sidewalk just as 3 reaches the falling metal. There's a weird moment of optimism where I wonder if maybe today he'll be different. Maybe today he'll just catch it and gently put it down on the ground like a normal, rational human. No show of power, no flashy stunts, but then he raises his fist and decks the absolute hell out of it. I have just enough time to snatch the closest thing I can grab off my backpack, which turns out to be a safety helmet, thank God, and not something completely useless for the situation, like a Band-Aid or hand sanitizer, and jam it on my head before the billboard's trajectory is walloped away from the paralyzed citizens and toward the small army of abandoned cars lining the road. I'll give 3 this. Guy's got a future career in bowling if he ever wants it. There's something weirdly satisfying about watching the ripple of cars get smashed to pieces. It's like when you line up a chain of dominoes and push one over. The not satisfying thing is the knowledge that the billboard on its own would never have been able to cause this much damage, but I guess you can turn anything into a missile if you super punch it hard enough. The rippling of the first few cars is the only thing I see, however, because that's when I dive behind the closest tree, cover my organs with my backpack, and clamp my eyes and mouth shut against the impending cloud of dust and debris. The last thing I need today is to get impaled by flying shrapnel. The next few moments are underscored by a soundtrack I know very well. The sound of metal screeching as it wrenches apart, glass shattering, steel pounding into the sidewalk. When the noise gets replaced by silence, followed by the clamor of breathless, relieved sobs of gratitude that can only mean the people on the other side of the street have suddenly realized they're not dead, I know it's safe enough to open my eyes and peer around the corner. As expected, Super Variant 3 is not looking in horror at the destruction he's just caused to 8 different vehicles, including my poor, useless Arnold, which is now a blackened, charred mess with a sliced-off roof and an eruption of smoke pouring out of the engine. No, he's floating above the awestruck crowd, beaming down at them. I can't make out any of what they're all saying to him, probably something along the lines of, "I love you," or "sign my face," or "let me name my children after you," but his proud, confident voice carries. "Not a problem," he's saying. "Just doing my duty." My mouth falls open. Not a problem? I have a problem. I have several problems. I'm about to step off the sidewalk to march over and tell him so, but then there's a near intangible blur of orange light, accompanied by a gust of wind that rips past me so quickly my helmet clatters to the ground and my choppy red hair blows over my eyes. "Watch it!" I yell, shaking my bangs back into place. "Hey, 3! The blur zigzags through the maze of destroyed cars and slams to a stop near 3 and his fawning fans, coming into focus as a tall figure with a sleek wave of black hair coated in a dull orange neoprene bodysuit. Super Variant 4. Take a guess what his thing is. "Quit flirting. One needs backup." Force stands still long enough to get the words out before he readjusts his opaque goggles and runs up the side of a building, disappearing in another orange flash over the top. "I do not!" An unseen voice screams in outrage, and then, oh, what a surprise! Another super! A deep purple blotch in the distance that I recognize immediately as Super Variant 1, asymmetrical cape trailing behind her, rockets out from over the building 4 has just disappeared behind. I vaguely wonder where Super Variant 2 is in all of this. If I had invisibility powers, I probably wouldn't even show up to these shenanigans at all. No one would even know. Super Variant 1 executes a sharp swivel in midair that makes her thick, dark braids snap like a whip and yells, "I can handle this!" She makes a claw shape with her hands, reaches toward the ground, and scoops upward. In response, a car parked at the end of the street rises languidly into the air. She uncurls her right hand into a flat palm and presses it forward, sending the car catapulting over her head and towards some unseen enemy. No, I moan and instinctively try to shield Arnold behind my body, even though he's pretty much a lost cause. There's a vehicle at this point. "It never works!" I yell up at her. "Throw something else!" She doesn't even look my way. Before I can say anything else, her left hand is thrown out in that claw shape again, and Arnold is hurtling through the air to join the other car. The thing that's been antagonizing the supers has come into view from behind the building, and I can see the polished gleam of an 8-story tall robot with some human operating it from inside its transparent head. A robot. Not for the first time, I feel myself filled with irritation rather than terror at the threat of the day. I mean, come on, guys. How did someone build a giant robot in this city without anyone noticing? If someone is getting 800 tons of metal delivered to their house, that needs to be a red flag. The robot doesn't even turn its head as its right arm swings up and blocks my car with the ear-splitting clang of metal on metal, sending it careening back toward the pavement in a shower of sparks. I shield my head with my arm as my car crashes and rolls, coming to a smoking stop a few yards away from me, then look back up dejectedly. The supers are already gone, leading the robot further down the street. "You're fine, right, Arnold?" I yell at my car. It erupts into flames. "Okay, I'll just walk to work." I reach around for the metal rod clipped magnetically to the side of my backpack and press a button. It instantly lengthens and expands into a titanium umbrella, riddled with minor dents and scratches. A bowling ball-sized crater dips into the left side, giving the whole umbrella an uneven, sagging look. A burn mark from who knows what, I want to say maybe lasers, is just below that. It's been through a lot, but still works, I think. I mean, I'm not dead yet. I raise it above my head and start walking. Yay, that was chapter 1 of Collateral Damage. I'll be back eventually with a dramatic reading of chapters 2 and 3 to get everybody hyped for this book that comes out once again on June 25th, 2019. Pre-order links through Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and the Parliament website are going to be below, unless you're watching this on social media somewhere, in which case probably not. Go find it through my link tree or my bio or something. But yeah, Collateral Damage is coming out soon. I'm really excited. It's young adult fiction about a girl with no powers living in a city protected by superheroes. In case you couldn't pick that up from the chapter, I probably should have led with that, but it's too late now. I'm not recording this again. Here we go. Hope you enjoyed it.